I want to talk about Torah terrorism, and which is, as we come to faith, we're out telling everybody the good news. And some of my philosophy from this doesn't come from Torah, so let me give you an idea of where that comes from, and because that could distort some situations. I always remember with Thoreau and Wordsworth, their idea was the person who is the baby is the one who's closer to God. And when we come to faith, the Holy Spirit is sitting on us. And, He'll sit on us for different periods of time. For me, it was 4.5 months. Just every day for 4.5 months, just constant studying while He just sat on me. And again, He's sitting on most of us. Some of us come to faith a little slower, but most of us actually have that Holy Spirit just, boom, I'm on you. And those who come a little slower, I think they come to faith slower because they have a little bit more safety in their family situation. But one of the things that happens, and I hope this portion never goes away at any point in time in our entire lives, this life and the next life, and that is the ultimate joy of, look what I just read, look, let me tell you about this new thing. But as we come in, that's one of the things that happens, and they're out on their Facebook, and among everything else, any other method they have, they're telling everybody, look, listen, look what the new thing that I've learned. And there's a reason for that. And remember, the Holy Spirit is guiding those new believers for the first little bit. And most of them are Torah terrorists. Anytime I see somebody new, I'll guarantee you that I go and I check their profiles to see whether I can see something on a Torah terrorist. It's a pretty good indication if I see Torah terrorism on your profile that the Holy Spirit is sitting on you. And so because of that, we are told repeatedly about a watchman. And a watchman who doesn't sound the alarm, if something happens, the people's blood is on him. But if he sounds the alarm and they refuse to listen, then their blood is on them. And that's when you come to faith, everybody in your family, all your friends, you're Torah terrorists all over the place. The word has been given, and unfortunately they're going to all reject it. You have very little chance of anybody actually listening. But it doesn't really matter, because the issue is you have complied. You have given the alarm, sounded the alarm. And sounding the alarm is one of the things that I really have, all the Christians will walk around and say, you're not showing love to us. You're not showing love. And I'm screaming at them, what are you talking about? The greatest love is seeing somebody going towards a cliff and screaming to say, stop, it's a cliff. Don't you see it's a cliff? Turn around before you die. You don't just say, oh, let me just walk with you, hold your hand as you're going over the cliff. As they're going over the cliff, you're trying to wake them up to say, you're going for a cliff. You don't have much time left. Turn around now while you still have time, because if you don't, you're a dead person. What parent watches their child getting ready to put their hand on a hot stove and doesn't say, stop, don't do that? Where these people are saying, well, no, loving me is letting me do all this. Loving me is allowing me to be the homosexual and whatever. Or, all these things. And again, I'm throwing that out there as an easy answer, but the other thing that is very true and holds the same death penalty is, let me go and I'll worship Sunday or worship God on the day that I want, and I'll work all day long on Sunday or Saturday and Sabbath, and I'll do whatever I want because I'm going to worship Him on Sunday. And you're like, that is a death sentence, people. That's a death sentence. And they're like, no, you're not showing love. You're not showing love. And they're like, but you're screaming. You're heading for destruction. Don't you see this? And so anyway, that's the whole thing when you come in for the Torah terrorism. Now, after that, you start realizing, I can't continue to throw pearls to swine. And then we kind of back off of the Torah terrorism because we've given everybody the notice. And so we can't be throwing pearls anymore. They've heard the pearls and they've rejected them. We don't just keep tossing them. So that's the thing, as you get a little more into faith, you back off the Torah terrorism, you still have the tremendous love. There's nobody that, I don't meet in faith that we're just immediately, it's probably the first line other than hello is, what did you study today? What did you learn today? What are you doing now? Where are you at in the Bible now? It's that total love of the Bible. And we all have it. And hope we never, ever lose that. But you do kind of fade back because you don't want to be throwing pearls. I have family members and they'll make comments and they didn't ask. If they ask me a question, I'll answer it. But if they're making statements, I've given them pearls and they've tossed them away. So I'm not going to continue to do that. Now, obviously, there's a big difference between those above us in our family and to the outside, to cousins and things like that, and our children, because our children we're to be instructing daily. And so those pearls you continue to dump down, every single day. And I don't really want to go too much farther than that on this. I think one of the other things that happens is after you get to that point, you start submitting to authority and, doing things that are more towards glorifying the Creator and looking for the jobs that we will be doing. And that's one of the great things. What jobs will we do? What jobs are we supposed to do? And, we're servants. We don't get to make choices on things. He makes the choices. Now, I'll tell you, I have a job that is my greatest desire to do, which is to be an officer or captain in the Army, in the Creator's Army. But I don't get to make that choice. So I can prep, I can get everything ready, and if He chooses me, that's great. If He doesn't choose me, that's also great. I have to give my weapon to somebody who could use it. I want to go through the whole Exodus with a little .22 pistol because that's the smallest weapon that I can use to go against tanks and people with missiles and huge guns and bulletproof armor and all this other stuff, and I'm going to just use a .22 pistol because that gives glory to the Creator, because I'm basically saying it's not me that's able to do this. Nobody's going to win a war with a .22 pistol. So it's a statement. That little pistol is a statement. The Creator is the one that's doing it all, because there's no possible way I can do it with a little .22. It just doesn't happen. So that's for the glory of the Creator to say, if I'm able to do it with a little .22, where's that coming from? It ain't from me. There's nothing from me that could win any of those battles. Not a chance. So. But again, I think you submit to the authority as you get older, and there's many people I submit to. I mean, I have my pastor, I have Rabbi Steve from MTOI, and just in my congregation. I'm the young puppy in my congregation. There are some senior members that are not my pastor, but I guarantee you, like Joyce and Sam, and again, I just named two of them, but trust me, there's many more. I don't want to embarrass everybody by naming them off, but they have just as much control for me, and they can say, Mark, you shouldn't be doing this, and guess what? I'm going to be listening to them. They are, and again, they're also my great friends. So the congregation I have, and just like I'm sure everybody else's congregation, they are just some amazing, amazing people. I love them to death. Absolutely love them to death.